All right, everyone, welcome back to yet again another 2023-2024 season preview. And we continue on today with the Chicago Blackhawks. Shouldn't be putting Detroit in the video, but regardless, Chicago, a much interesting team for sure, because they're heading in that direction where, they're done probably the worst year of the rebuild, the most painful year at that. They got their star player they wanted, and now it's just about building this team back to contention again. And that's what we're going to see probably over the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, most likely here. So, regardless, we're just going to get straight into it. Looking at last season first, they went 26, 49, and 7 for 59 points. They were 30th in the NHL, and they obviously missed the playoffs because that is third worst in the entire league. Obviously, this was expected. They were coming into the season saying, "Yeah, we were going to be bad." And obviously, with the Patrick Kane trades, the Max Domi deals, and such, of course, it's no surprise that they were that bad. However, they got blessed with the first overall pick. We'll get into that in a second, though. But first off, let's look at their departures. Who left in the offseason? Starting off here with Jonathan Toews, Alex Stalock, Jujhar Khaira, Caleb Jones, Anders Bjork, and Andreas Englund are all the guys that have left. So Toews, not officially, well, I guess, yeah, it is official that he has left. He is taking a break for the 23-24 season, is hopeful to return in 24-25, which is kind of shocking. I figured he'd be done, but nope, he's going to come back for yet again another season, and hopefully in 24-25. But regardless, we'll touch base with that later on. Alex Stalock was a backup goalie behind Mrazek, mainly. Really was nothing more than that. Jujhar Khaira, not a bad bottom six forward. Caleb Jones, a good top pairing or a good top four defenseman on a team like Chicago was last season. Bjork, another bottom six guy. And Englund wasn't there for very long. He was traded for Jack Johnson, I believe. So, yeah, your departures, not really that big of players besides, I guess, Toews, but at this stage, he's not that effective as he used to be. But still, of course, I can imagine how that would feel to Blackhawks fans. Arrivals, that new players that came onto the roster this past year. Connor Bedard's the biggest one. Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, and Ryan Donato. And I think they made some very smart moves here. They got Connor Bedard. I mean, there's no question there. I don't even really need to explain that. That's their star future player. Taylor Hall, definitely a really solid, he's going to be probably playing first line up there with Bedard for sure. Nick Foligno, a good third line center, third line winger, or a center, however he wants to go. And then Ryan Donato there is a good third liner as well. So not bad there acquiring those players. They really didn't need to do anything necessarily. They got some more guys to kind of fill the roster and keep the salary cap. Oh yeah, and Corey Perry as well. I almost forgot to mention him. A fourth liner, probably at best on the Chicago roster, for being honest. But regardless, I like the moves they're making. I like the direction they're going. And it's smart. They're definitely building towards being a better team once again. And of course, by the time probably like 2027, around there is when we should start seeing some real improvement, or maybe a little bit before that. But regardless, we are still a long ways away before we see Chicago see the light of day of the NHL again, most likely. But the lineup here overall, via the Hockey News, is better, but it's still not good. You got your top six here: Connor Bedard, Taylor Hall, and Andreas Athanasiou is your first line. Lucas Reichel, Tyler Johnson, and Taylor Radish as your second line. So that's probably the best thing they have with this roster, is their top six. And it's not that bad either. I like it a lot. Bedard, the first line obviously is going to carry that. Reichel, coming into, I believe, his rookie season, should play solid. We'll see how he does. Tyler Johnson was hurt for a lot of last year. Played well, though, in the games that he did play. So hopefully he can have a fully healthy year. And then Radish there, too. Still a solid guy as well. Yeah, your bottom six is when it's like, yeah, no. You got Nick Foligno, Ryan Donato, and Philip Kurashev as your third line. Then you got Boris Kachuk, Jason Dickinson, and Corey Perry as your fourth line. Then for some extra players, you have Mackenzie Entwistle, Colin Blackwell, and Reese Johnson. So yeah, overall, I mean, the bottom six isn't like terrible, but it's still not that good. I mean, the third line's solid. Foligno, Donato, Kurashev, good third liners. Fourth line's okay. But yeah, it's not a playoff team. Not yet. And we weren't expecting that either. We weren't expecting for them to be a contending team out of the bat. They're probably going to finish last in the division again, and probably will for the next maybe like 2 more years, including this year. But honestly, I really wouldn't expect much besides just seeing growth out of Bedard, Korchinski, Reichel, etc. So overall, your defense, I had to get creative here because I could not find like any legitimate lineups of their defense. And the fact that I looked at the daily face-off, they had Philip Ruse, as the first pairing guy. I'm like, there's no way that he'd be first pairing. So I did this the best I could. I apologize if this doesn't look very good. First pairing, Jarrett Tenorti and Seth Jones. Connor Murphy and Wyatt Kaiser. Nikita Zaitsev and Kevin Korchinski. And then you got Philip Ruse and Alex Vlasic was another guy that I saw there. So, yeah. That is your defense. That is probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest, defense in the NHL. I got to be brutally honest with you. Seth Jones, they give him a lot of flack because of his contract. I probably do the same thing because I remember when that contract was signed, I came on here and said I hate it. It's so stupid. Why would they sign that? There's no point. But he doesn't mean he's a bad player necessarily. He's just overpaid. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's overpaid. Murphy could move him up to the first pairing. Honestly, it's up for grabs. You could argue Korchinski can make that. I put Korchinski on the third pairing mainly because he's a rookie. And I mean, like, he could go higher. But, honestly, we shall find out there. And then obviously guys like Vlasic and Ruse will get shots for sure. Honestly, Chicago really shouldn't care, like, who plays in their lineup. Besides, like, trying to develop the young guys better, like Reichel, Bedard, Korchinski, Vlasic, Kurashev. I guess Kurashev's not that young anymore. Reese Johnson, like Taylor Radish, guys like that. Just let them come in, develop, see how the team does with them. We'll find out. And I mean, hey, you already sold a lot of season tickets for people to go see a generational talent like Connor Bedard, so I'm already ready for that. But I'm still not going to get my hopes up too high because I got my hopes about Slavkovsky, Lafreniere, etc. Even though it is Bedard, we'll find out. Goaltending is still bad. I'm sorry if I'm like being a little bit too harsh in Chicago here, but like it's just not. They just don't have that good of a team yet. Peter Mrazek and Arvid Soderblom is your tandem. Then you got Jason Stauber as your third string goalie. So yeah, not that good. Mrazek, I thought played well at a few points there. Soderblom the same. I thought he was all right. But of course, like you're playing on a team like Chicago, your stats aren't going to be very good. So it's really no surprise there. And I expect for their stats to probably be bad again this coming season. The biggest X factor, honestly, is just you can put Bedard, but I put defense. Like we'll see how the blue line does. We'll see how it grows and develops. Honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not worried about anything right now with Chicago because we know they're going to be bad. Just hopefully they get a little bit better. They move up higher in the standings every single year. Maybe not in their division, but still like they see progress in some of the guys and the team overall. That's really what the hell is their GM's name? It's really what their GM wants to see for sure. I'm thinking Kevin Adams right now. I have no idea why. Kyle Davidson. I don't know why. I've been blanking on a lot of things today. I'm sorry. But regardless, the biggest question I would say is how well does Bedard do? Honestly, like how well is Bedard really going to do? Because I've seen a lot of things saying, oh, he could get 100 points. I think he gets around like probably 60, maybe 70. I don't want to project it to that high because like even then like McDavid got like 50 points in his rookie year. So like it really isn't a big it isn't something to worry about there, of course. But regardless, I mean the team is still bad. They're going to be bad this coming year. It's just a matter of like them improving again. Your point projections are as follows, and they're via the Hockey News' fantasy guide here. You got Connor Bedard leading the way with 74 points. Taylor Hall with 58 points. Seth Jones with 52. Taylor Radish with 43. And Lucas Reichel with 40. So obviously there, that is your point projections. Not bad. Bedard leading the way makes a lot of sense. Sleeper or your bust is Lucas Reichel. Picking Connor Bedard was easy. Building the surrounding cast will be the hard part. It starts with Lucas Reichel, the Hawks' most NHL-ready prospect. He had back-to-back 50-point seasons in the AHL and another 15 in 23 games with the big club. So, obviously, they're like, he came up and played pretty well. for Chicago at points there for sure. And I expect him to make the lineup out of camp. There's no doubt. And play with Connor Bedard. And another thing is, too, that I forgot to mention is I can't think of guys who are expiring, but there's definitely some guys that are expiring here on this team that for sure you're going to want to trade at the deadline. So they're going to try and move more assets again, try and be bad again, get another top 5, top 3 pick, and select another high guy like maybe Cole Eiserman. And if they get lucky again, which I'm not sure if they can to the draft rules, but if they get lucky again, maybe Macklin Celebrini, the consensus first guy. So obviously there we'll find out what happens. But regardless, their cup odds are 120 to 1, and I'll end off with that. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and down below. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Chicago, they're in a weird spot, so we'll find out. Or they're like in a bad spot, obviously, right now. But, we'll see the improvement in the coming years. And we'll be back talking about them mid-season in the 2023 reviews. And I'll definitely have some good things to say, even if they are bad. But anyways, next one is Pittsburgh. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.